Hey, what's going on, film fans? We are the usual skeptics. Here we talk about entertainment news, movie reviews, streaming, fan related content, all that sorts of good stuff. My name's Gabriel. This is Wes Rathbone. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great, buddy. Ready to talk about the 60th anniversary of Spider-Man, my friend, and getting our rankings in for some of these movies. Let's get into it.
All right, like you said, we're going to break down the nine feature films, starting with the 2002 Spider-Man film all the way up to No Way Home. Got a lot to talk about. We're going to try and make this as compact as possible, although there is a lot to talk about. We're going to actually start from the bottom up here. You got to build anticipation, right? So, what is a Spider-Man video without, I'm going to go to a wide here, without my Spider-Man Hot Toys from Sideshow? I didn't really have any room to put it out, so I just thought that'd be fun just to kind of throw out there. So
I like it,
figured
man.
figured
I
why
like
not?
it.
Why not, right? Why not? Anytime I can show off my Hot Toys, take that comment however you wish.
You got to,
Then
man.
then I'm going to display that. It's our channel. We do what we want. If we want to show off Hot Toys, we're going to show them off anyway. I'm going to throw it to you, man. What is your ninth and eighth place? And then we'll come over to mine. But what is yours?
So my number nine is Spider-Man 3. The Venom, the Venom, uh, Toby Maguire, and oh god, it was just for me. It just didn't do it for me, man. I just really didn't like it. But I mean, it is Spider-Man, so I mean, it is what it is. My number eight, um, probably an unpopular opinion, but it's the first Spider-Man. Um,
Ooh,
I
really?
just,
Okay.
yeah, dude.
Okay.
And it's I don't know. There was just other ones that I liked better. And it's nothing. It's a good movie, and it was the first movie to introduce it. You know what I mean? And I get
Right.
that, and I understand that. But for me, and this is my own opinion, it's down there. Not a bad film. I
I
just
do I
like
do want to
others more.
interject for just a second. I think you and me can agree. We didn't talk about our rankings beforehand, but I think we should have kind of started off with this um, before we kind of went in the rankings. I think you might agree with me, you might not, but I'm gonna see what you think. I don't think any of these films, at least in our bottom, let's say three, they're not hot garbage. I think it's safe to say
No,
that
no,
all that from Spider-Man 2002 up into No Way Home and everything in between Spider-Man movies, we're not talking about Spider-Man appearances, we're talking about solo Spider-Man movies. None of them are hot garbage. So even though we
no.
do say,
I
"Oh, a
can
number
agree
nine
with
is
that.
Spider," so okay, so we do agree with that. That's interesting, and that's something that I kind of thought. That's in the. I mean, a lot of people don't like Spider-Man 3. A lot of people don't like Amazing Spider-Man, which we'll talk about here in a second. But yeah. So what were you saying? Going back to number eight.
Number eight. I
This
mean,
is
number
Spider-Man
eight's
one.
the first Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's the one that introduced him, man. And I don't know. I just feel like you said, it's not hot garbage. It isn't nothing like that. It's just I like the other ones better, and that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
There's some of
It's
these
all
that I just
subjective.
liked better, you know.
Yeah.
And I'll give my reasons for that, for my top three, why I like them so much.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Yeah. We'll
saying?
save
Like,
a lot
but
of
for
that.
me,
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna skip a lot of that stuff. But
Right.
like I said, emo Spider-Man just didn't do it for me. Um,
Not for most
that
people.
whole
The music though is awesome.
that
The memes are
whole
great. The
dancing
the
thing
the
just wasn't
memes
for me.
the the memes are awesome.
Just wasn't for me.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, they are. They're
I feel
great.
that. I feel that. I'm actually
But
surprised though. That is interesting.
yeah.
So my number nine is Spider-Man 3. So that's interesting that you said that because my number nine is Spider-Man 3. And look, that movie, just like kind of how I feel about Iron Man 2, is Spider-Man 3, it tried to tell several different plot like subplots that just ended up not going anywhere. And if we're ranking that among the other Spider-Man movies, that's certainly at the bottom of the list. I have a less enjoyable time, even though Tobey Maguire is awesome. There's a lot of great element, like Thomas Hayden Church, who we just seen in No Way Home, at
Mhm.
least briefly, reprising his role with that. You know, I thought he was great. I thought, Venom, if it didn't have Venom, if it didn't focus on the whole, oh, who really killed my uncle. I actually think that actually would have actually worked if they just held on to Sandman and that character in Flint Marco. I think that would have made a more compelling story and narrative for Sam Raimi to tell. But hey, look, that's the movie he wanted to make, and despite what you think, them saying, "Oh well, Sam Raimi said that Sony made me put in Venom," then make a good movie with Venom. Like I
Right.
don't know what else to tell
Exactly.
you, because the last Venom movie I seen almost made $1 billion, and
Hmm.
people were saying, "Oh, that movie's not going to work without Spider-Man." Guess what? It did.
Yeah.
It did. And
Guess
the
what?
second one made a whole bunch too. So, yeah, don't give me that
Hmm.
garbage. It wasn't good because it wasn't good. Now, if you like it, that's totally fine. That's all subjective, and that's great. And I celebrate that. Wes and I do both. We celebrate that. We go at each other sometimes about things we don't like, and that's fine. But no, that is interesting that you placed your number 8 at Spider Man 1. That was interesting. But Spider Man 3 is my number 9. The next one up on my list is Amazing Spider-Man 2. Um, Look, I've went on record on my TikTok. You can find it here below at Voice of Film. My favorite actor working today is Andrew Garfield, and I'm not going to go in all that on why and all that kind of stuff, but he certainly elevated that movie for me. That even though I did
Yeah, they
not
don't need to know about
like,
your boy crush, bro.
even though I did not like Amazing Spider-Man 2, look, Andrew Garfield delivers, man. He is such a good Peter Parker slash Spider-Man. And I think we've talked about this before. I think he's the
Agreed.
quintessential Spider-Man. Holland's
Hmm.
great. I love Maguire. We grew up with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I did. Seeing that movie in 2002 around my birthday, seeing that for the
Hmm.
first time as a little kid, I'm like, this is Spider-Man. Right?
Hmm.
Like this is
Yeah,
Spider-Man. But these
completely
Amazing
agree.
Spider-Man films come out and you're like, now again, they're not heart garbage. I do think Amazing Spider-Man 2 gets a lot more hate than it maybe deserved, because I love the Gwen Stacy Peter Parker relationship. Emma Stone does fantastic in it. I really like Jamie Foxx. I do, but his story
Hmm.
was pointless and stupid. A lot in that movie's straight up stupid.
I mean,
I
yeah,
can't.
whenever you look at his character
Yeah,
in it though, and like the way that they portrayed him in
No
No
Way
Way
Home.
Home
Got to have that
compared to
MCU
that
upgrade.
movie,
Oh yeah.
like
I
way,
wanted
way
that
bigger of an
story.
upgrade.
Yeah, I wanted, okay, where do we go from here? And maybe that'll come to pass. We'll just have to find out. But it was good seeing him back. I'm not, because I am a Jamie Foxx fan. I am. I love
Hmm.
Jamie Foxx. So, seeing him, I think I was in the army at the time, and watching this movie, I walked out a little bummed out. I've seen worse movies, but I do think it's doesn't deserve the hate that, a lot of people make it seem out to be. So, it is what it is. Anyway, all right,
Right.
Wes, what is your what is your number 7 and 6th spot?
7, 6, and 5. That's what I'm gonna do.
You're gonna do 7,
7,
6,
6,
5?
and
Okay,
5.
sure, go for it.
7, 6, 5. That way we can do well. Yeah, let's do 7 and 6. That's fine. We'll do that. My seventh and sixth is probably you're not gonna like, but it's okay. So my seventh is going to be the Amazing Spider-Man 2, and my what is that? The seventh and sixth,
Yeah,
or
that'd
yeah,
be your
seventh and
7th.
sixth.
Yeah,
My
Amazing Spider-Man.
seventh is the Amazing Spider-Man 2, and my sixth is going to be Far From Home. That's super bad,
Interesting.
but that's for me.
I I
Um,
mean, yeah.
that's my 7 and 6. Like you said, the Amazing Spider-Man 2, I felt like there could have been more.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the film though, whenever I did watch it. And like you said, Andrew Garfield is
So great.
awesome. So
So
great.
great.
He's a great actor in a lot of things. A lot of stuff that he's doing now is great.
Top notch, yeah.
But whenever it comes to, far from home, um, basically, I I don't know, like it didn't. I loved it. Like, it was a great movie. Like I said, it's just, this is my opinion. I liked the other movies better.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is what it is. You know, it's that's just my personal thing. The second film, it was just like, whenever they're at the monument and all that stuff, I'm like, it's just kind of, it is what it is. You know what I
It
mean?
is
I
what
was
it
just
is.
like,
It is what
okay,
it is. And
you know,
you are talking
um,
about the one where they're in Find Mysterio, right?
yeah,
Far from home.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I like the movie, and I'll talk about that here in a second. I think I might surprise you here. So my 7 and 6 are Amazing Spider-Man 1. This movie is not as certainly better than Amazing Spider-Man 2, but it's nowhere near as bad as what people make it out to be. I rewatched it shortly just before watching No Way Home to get my wife caught up to speed, and she's a huge fan of Andrew Garfield too. And I'll say this about the Amazing Spider-Man movies because I have number 8, Amazing Spider-Man 2, and then number 7, Amazing Spider-Man 1. I'll say this about the Amazing Spider-Man movies. If it wasn't for a talented actor in Andrew Garfield, let's say they got a subpar actor, subpar kind of semi-talented actor, I guess, I don't think these movies would be watchable. I really don't. So that is a little interesting to kind of know. I do believe that these movies, they hold a lot of fan base. We've seen that with No Way Home. Andrew Garfield comes in, everybody's freaking the crap out. But the Amazing Spider-Man 1, certainly not as bad as what people made it out to be. I actually liked it. I liked the lizard stuff. I liked him as the villain. And who doesn't like Riz Fonz? Dude, I can't believe I'm saying this, but my first exposure to Riz Fonz was in Little Nicky, where he plays oh, is it not Cassius? What's his name? Oh god, I can't
I
remember
can't
his name,
remember.
but I like Little Nicky. I'm not gonna lie, I get a kick out of
No,
it.
I really
Um,
like Little Nicky
but
too. It was a
but
good movie for
yeah,
me.
but as an adult, when I was like, "That's Riz Fonz and Little Nicky," I'm like, "This blows my mind." But seeing him, and then we're gonna see him in the Game of Thrones prequel coming out, by the way, so that's gonna be fun. But Riz Fonz, I thought did great. I like the Captain Stacy stuff. I like the actor. I can't remember his name, but it's one of those actors where you don't know his name, but you know his face, right? That plays
Right.
Gwen Stacy's dad. I thought he did great. There's a lot in that movie to like. There really is. That moment where Uncle Ben gives him the, great power comes great responsibility speech, right?
Oh yeah.
Dude, that scene, man, is so good with one of the Sheens in there. And that was
Mhm.
just that was so good. That movie, it's on the it's 7th place on my list, but anyway, it is what it is. I like it. I'll say it. I like it. My number 6 spot is Spider-Man Homecoming. So I didn't know if that would have threw you in for a loop there, but Homecoming is my number 6.
It does.
It does.
I didn't
Okay.
expect that at
Look,
all.
look, I love the John Hughes vibe. And I'll tell you one of the main reasons that turns me off of this movie or as Peter Parker Spider-Man as a whole in the MCU, but I'll save that for here in just a second. Basically, just real quick, I like Homecoming. It's such a solid, good, fun, entertaining movie. It is. You're gonna laugh. That I can remember the air being sucked out of the room, dude, when Peter goes to pick up his girlfriend to take to the prom and realize that Michael
Uh-huh.
Keaton is that girl's dad. And then when he opens the
Yeah.
door, I remember everybody, and then like everybody did that, and I'm like, oh my god! So they usually things don't sneak up on me like that. Usually I can figure out okay, this and this and this. But that I'm not gonna lie, that one threw me in for a loop. I had no idea that was gonna happen. So I love that. Michael Keaton, dude. Oh my god. Michael Keaton's great in anything. He's so good. He's so good with bird characters. So good.
Best Batman.
Oh
So
my god.
yeah.
We'll reserve that
So
for another time. But yes, Michael Keaton's great. Tom Holland is great in the first, full introduction to the MCU as a solo film. I thought it was pretty solid. Vulture was a solid villain. I love the
mhm.
John Hughes vibe of the whole thing. I really did. It had that kind of Ferris Bueller's Day Off kind of, that kind of series of films. It kind of had that feel, that again, that John Hughes feel to it, which I do enjoy. So that's why Homecoming is my number 6. All right, so going into our 5th and 4th spots. Go ahead, buddy. What you think? What's your
All right,
number
man. So
5th?
my 5th and 4th spots. All right. So I had at number 6, I had The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And at number 5, I have The Amazing Spider-Man. And we're getting down to like the middle of the road
The
here.
nitty
So
gritty. I guess
for
y'all
me,
can figure out where we're going.
yeah. So we're getting down to the mid. These movies, I really enjoyed, you know, this movie. I really did. I think that, Gabe said it the best whenever he was talking about it, the first time, that, we won't go and repeat everything back, but I mean, I felt the same way that he did about this movie. You know what I mean? So that being said, we'll go into my number 4, which is Spider-Man 2. So, and that's
Those are
my
fine
number
words,
4
my
spot.
friend. You
Spider-Man 2 is my
shamed my Tom Holland Spider-Man. Oh, anyway, continue.
No, what? No, that's the one with Tobey Maguire.
No, I
Spider-Man
know.
2.
I know. I was just saying you still offended my Spider-Man out here. I
Oh,
know.
no, I didn't.
Oh yeah, you did. Oh yeah, you did.
No,
I know.
but for
I know.
sure,
I know.
like,
This one's Tom Holland. I know. Yeah. You mean the Doc Ock
so
Spider-Man 2. Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah. You still
that
offended
Spider-Man
him.
2, man,
Yeah.
it was a great movie. And it just didn't make it in my top 3 just because I
Interesting.
didn't enjoy it as much as I did my top 3. My top 3 I really, really enjoyed. So that being said, Gabe, what's your
Ooh,
what's your 5th and 4th?
my 5th and 4th. Okay, so we're getting down to the nitty gritty, my friend. All right, so starting with my number 5th is going to be
Your number 5th, your number 5?
my
Yeah.
my number 5th spot is Far From Home. Now I enjoy this. I enjoy from here. I enjoy. I can pop these on, and if they're on, I'm gonna watch them. Far From Home, I thought was a great addition to the Spider-Man movies. I thought it was a really good follow up to Homecoming. Samuel Jackson, who doesn't want Samuel Jackson in their movies, right? So he's great. Anytime he's in, I'm in, right? So anytime he's in a project, I'm like, got you, bro. Really loved him in it as always as Nick Fury. I love Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. I thought he brought everything he could into it. The story felt a bit, I'm not gonna say choppy, but pretty underwhelming. I like the story of Mysterio. That's the classic Mysterio thing,
So
right?
same as me, pretty much. Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was
About
trying to say whenever I was saying,
okay.
that's what
When
I
you
had
were
it
talking
down
about Far
there.
From Home, okay, so we agree on that sentiment of Far From Home being kind of underwhelming in the sense of story, because there are better Spider-Man stories out there. But I'm
Right.
saying overall as a whole, I enjoy I enjoy Far From Home. I do. Zendaya, she had a lot more to do in Far From Home than Homecoming. I
Mhm.
actually found her character all borderline annoying, and I like Zendaya. I do. I'm a huge Zendaya fan. A+ for me for Euphoria. But I I really enjoy Zendaya, and in Homecoming, but she was, I'm not gonna lie, dude, she was borderline um annoying
I
to
can see
me
that.
as an annoying character. Far From Home, oh dude, she completely flipped the script on me. When she first came on screen in the beginning of the movie, I was like, "Oh my god, here we go." And then by the end of the movie, I'm loving and I'm buying into this character. I was.
Right.
And as MJ, I thought she was awesome, man. I really thought she did. Again, Jake Gyllenhaal was awesome. Thought the story was a little underwhelming, but overall, really, really good, fun time at the movies for sure. So my number 4th spot, I might surprise you here, man, but is Spider-Man 1, the 2002 Spider-Man. So I mentioned it before. I'm
Okay.
not going to go into all of it again, but this film is one of the films that just, back then, if I'm not mistaken, maybe I should have had this pulled up, but if I'm not mistaken, Spider-Man 1 for a brief period of time held the record for highest grossing box office film at the time. I could be wrong. Maybe it was best opening weekend, or maybe it was overall, but it made upwards in the 700, 800 million. I mean, it was huge when it came out. And,
Mhm.
nowadays I mean, it's like clockwork. I mean, you're hearing movies left and Doctor Strange. We just got news today. Doctor Strange just hit $900 million at the box office. A lot of people nowadays is
No,
like,
man.
a superhero movie make $1 billion. Oh, that's not unheard of. It
Right.
happens quite a bit. But at
Poor
the time,
Morbius.
it's Morbin time. Insert
Oh
Morbius. Insert more.
god.
Oh man. Oh, anyway, we're not gonna go into all that. But when this movie came out, I was already a huge. I remember the Dr. Pepper advertisement, that's on the
Oh yeah,
cans,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you remember the Dr. Pepper? It had the Green Goblin on
Yeah.
it and the glider and stuff. Dude, I
Mhm.
loved this movie so much. It was actually on today at my parents' house, and I was just standing in the living room, just standing there watching. I went in to grab
On
something
FX, my
for.
friend.
I walked back in the living room. I'm like, I love this. I love the cage fight, where he's the
Oh
pajama
yeah.
Spider-Man or whatever, wearing the sweats, and he had the
Yeah.
great Bruce Campbell cameo, and like, oh my God, Sam Raimi he's just so good. And that's really the movie. I actually seen Evil Dead before that, but I was already a fan of Sam Raimi and his style. And then watching this movie, it just, solidified the fact that, this movie, this is Spider-Man. You're looking at, and
Oh
I
yeah.
love the final shot of the film, where he's, swinging, he's got that voiceover, and he's swinging, and then you get the American flag in the back. Oh, it's so freaking cool. So I remember as a kid, I'm like, yes. I still get chills when I see that. And you can't talk about Spider-Man without not talking about Norman Osborn. Willem
Oh yeah.
Dafoe, dude, so frightening, scary. His story, dude. I wish they would have carried it on in some more way, maybe in the sequel, Spider-Man 2 and in 3. He showed up a
One
little
of
bit
my
more in 3,
all-time
but
favorite actors, I'm not gonna lie.
Willem Dafoe's up there for me. He
Bro, he's
is.
up there. He's up
I
there for me. Dead serious.
he's that good. Like,
Mhm.
I'm just, yeah, we could spend 30 minutes talking about Willem Dafoe. But
Correct.
yeah,
Correct.
he's awesome. Spider-Man 1, super super good, and that is my number 4. So, Wes, we're in our last 3. So, build anticipation, man. What's your 3? What's your 3? What's your third spot, my friend?
Okay, so my third spot goes to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay. Okay. All right.
That is my third spot. It holds a close thing to my heart. So that's one of the first comic book like movies that I got to watch with my son. Um,
It's memories.
as Gabe knows, my son's had a lot of you know medical issues and stuff. So we spent a lot of time in the hospital, man, and so that was one of the first movies that they had on that whenever he was feeling good one night, he was like, "Daddy, I want to watch Spider-Man." So it holds a close thing to my heart. I really
Right.
do
So movies
like
do,
it.
man.
And he that brought him into the whole superhero type deal. He's a huge Hulk
So cool.
fan and everything like that. But like whenever he saw that Spider-Man, like that's what we watched over and over and over again, like every day. And it's yes, it's because of the cartoon and everything like that. But for me, whenever besides that point, it's because of you know the storyline and like just the awesomeness of that movie. I really do enjoy it. Like, you know, you got Nick Cage as a
Oh my God,
Spider-Man, dude.
Spider-Man
It's
Noir.
it was amazing, dude. It was so
Yeah.
good. But I really did enjoy the movie. It just went all over the place, and it wasn't too sporadic, but it wasn't. I really enjoyed the story. I enjoyed everything about it. Miles Morales. I can't wait for the next one to come out. I think there's like two parts, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Oh, so cool.
um, yeah, there's like a volume one and volume two, if
Mhm.
I'm not mistaken. So,
Well, I
but
do sorry, just to interject, just to clarify, I do think they're in
Mhm.
CinemaCon, the Sony panel.
Uh-huh.
I think they took off the part 1 and part 2 titles, and I think the
Oh,
first one
okay.
is I think they gave the third film a actual like title. Like it's not
Oh,
part 1 to
great.
2 anymore. So they're
That's cool.
obviously going to be interconnected, but they did drop the
I mean,
part 1 and
either
part 2.
way, I
But
can't
either
wait for them
way,
to come
yeah,
out, man.
yeah.
It's like I just for it to be my number 3. That's the reason that's my number 3. I really enjoyed the movie. I think it's great, and I can't wait for the next ones to come out.
So what
So,
movies do, man, they touch us in all sorts of ways, man. That's awesome.
oh yeah, man.
But so what's your number 2, my friend? What is that 2?
Number 2, my number 2
Ooh.
is Homecoming. Spider-Man Homecoming. Number
It's a
1,
good pick.
I just
It's a good pick.
enjoyed the introduction of Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Number 2, it's got the greatest Batman as Michael Keaton in there, doing his thing. And like you said, whenever people saw him as Zendaya's dad, it was just like, I was like,
Wait, what?
what?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
great catch. And it was just, that whole film.
The opening scene was awesome.
Oh, bro,
Opening scene was
so
awesome
good.
with damage
Like,
control and all that.
the
It was
fighting
good.
scene, the introduction of or like not introduction, but seeing oh man, Childish Gambino as
Oh yeah, yeah.
as
Donald Glover. Yeah.
yeah, Donald
As
Glover.
Miles
Childish
Morales'
Gambino.
uncle Aaron.
I'm a
Aaron
rap
Davis.
fan, you know what I mean? So
Aaron
but,
Davis. Yeah, Aaron Davis.
yeah, so but seeing him in there, I mean it's just the whole thing. Zendaya, like, like you said, I don't, that first
Put a little one
it was
note.
just yeah,
Put
it
a
was
little one
just
note.
kind of whatever for her. I'm not really worried about that. It was the story with Tom Holland and everything else going on, and him, trying to learn to use the web stuff and all that. It was just great. Like I really like that one. I was like, oh man, like that's where I was like, oh man, this is great. So I'm gonna hold off on my number 1, but we already know what my number 1 is.
We already know. I'm going to or do you want to take it, or do you want me to do 3, 2, and then we can talk about our
You do 3, 2, and then we'll go over our number 1.
and then our 1 is obviously the same. Well,
is it really?
Alert. Yeah. So
of course.
my number 3 and 2. So I reserved to talk about this. What I mentioned it briefly when I was talking about Homecoming, but there's one reason why the Spider-Man in the MCU kind of turns me off, kind of really makes me roll my eyes a little bit. And I'll talk about that here in just a second. I wanted to wait till we got to our number 3 and 2 spot. My number 3 is No Way Home. I loved this movie. You and I went into this thing. We talked months prior going.
Your number 3 is No Way Home?
My number 3 is No Way Home.
Yeah. Oh no, then we don't have the same number.
Oh, we don't? Oh, I thought you said
no.
Oh. Well, hang on. Let me finish my thought. Hang on. Oh, we don't then. Sorry.
No, bro.
But our number 3 is, is No Way Home, because it's a story that I was so worried that this movie was going to tank because of not only the anticipation. I mean, we had in-game level anticipation for this movie. Other than in-game, I don't remember another time in history, at least in my lifetime. Star Wars. Star Wars was probably the other biggest, or the Phantom Menace in '99. I guess since then, besides that one in in-game, this watching No Way Home, the anticipation was real. It got to the point where I almost fell sick to my stomach because I'm like, I'm going to be really bummed out if I do not like this movie. Didn't I tell you that? I drove to Knoxville, Tennessee to watch this. They have a huge Regal theater over there, which I love and I endorse, and really love the Regal over there. But I drove 3 hours, not just to go there, but we had a weekend trip, but on the way was Spider-Man. So going out, we went and watched it. And I told you, I think I was in the car on my way there. I was like, dude, I would be so upset. Like, but it would ruin my weekend if I walk out of this movie bad.
So if you guys don't know, whenever something big's coming out, and I go see him at work, and I'm at work as well. So basically, I go see him at work. We'll be like, "Hey, man, 2 days is game day.
It's game day.
We call any big
Game day.
movie, anything that we're going to go see, we call it game day.
It's game
You
day.
know what I mean? So we were texting back and forth that day that he went to go see it, and we're both just like, game day, son, game day. And he went and seen it
Game
before
day.
me.
I did. Just a
So
little bit before. I
whenever
think
he
a whole
gets
day.
out, he's like,
Yeah.
the only text I get is "bruh," and I'm like, I don't know
That
if
was all
that's
I
good
said.
or bad
That was all I
or
said.
nothing.
Then he called me and I gave him a quick, just general reaction. And kind of just what I'm going to do here is, look, there's a couple nitpicks I do have in the movie. There are some story elements that just felt very choppy and maybe underdeveloped. It kind of, and I haven't mentioned this to you before, at least I don't think, it kind of felt like the first draft of the movie. Like, there's a lot that happens in the first, like the first like 10, 15, 20 minutes or so, loved and ate it up. But once they wrapped all that up and went into the second act and all that kind of stuff, it kind of got a little like, this seems like something that was on post-it notes all over the office. That's just how it hits me. Is that there's a lot more that could, very similar to my thoughts on Multiverse of Madness. That, you know, I love the first act of the movie. Once it gets in the second act, kind of got a little choppy. And thank God the third act was good, man. Because if No Way Home, if it would have just kept going where it was going, I don't think I would have enjoyed it. And I didn't enjoy it just for Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire's return. But the fact that they were in there, do I?
I said I didn't either, but
oh no, yeah,
I have
right,
a reason why it's my number one.
No, you're.
But I'm gonna get to that whenever we talk to it.
Okay,
so.
no, you're fine. But for me, oh, dude, like I loved it. My lip quivered, man. Like I teared up. And Andrew Garfield's my favorite actor, so seeing him come out first, of course, it had to be Andrew Garfield first, right? So Andrew Garfield comes through, and I'm crying. I'm tearing up, dude, and tears are about to swell. But I'm keeping my composure, you know, because I like him as Spider-Man. I did. And say what you want, the last part of Amazing Spider-Man 2 where he's reaching for Gwen and she just smacks her neck, one of the best scenes in comic book movie history. Like, I know that's in my number 8 spot, but that scene in and of itself is great. I don't care what anybody says. Anyway, when Tobey Maguire came in, dude, I bawled like a baby. Like, I enjoyed Andrew Garfield, and I got teared up. I got teary-eyed, you know, I'll admit. But man, when Tobey Maguire
can't wait
walked
to
through,
tell you about. I really can't tell you, but like, wait to tell you why this is my favorite. So go ahead. So, what's your number 2?
Well, number 2. Okay, so just to finish up, Tobey Maguire, when he walked through, I just bawled, and I loved, you know, seeing Willem Dafoe, going back to Willem Dafoe again. He came back, he brought the energy, he brought the gravitas to this film, and certainly worked. And how I'm glad that No Way Home worked, even though I felt like some of it felt like a first or second draft. I was worried that if those actors did come in, I didn't want it to be just for a quick pop. You know, if you're going to do it, send it home, man.
Right.
Make it good. And they did. They had them in for a narrative purpose, and by the end of the movie, dude, Spider-Man is no longer Spider-Boy. He's Spider-Man, dude. And going back to what I mentioned a couple times before, is one of the reasons that turns me off of the MCU Spider-Man is he relied too much on Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. And that character, it was almost like, oh, well, he's, I don't know, maybe not cool enough. Let's give him a high, you know, $1 billion suit. And it's like, dude, that kind of bums me out. Let him be Spider-Man, right? Don't put on this child lock protocol, whatever you got in the suit built in. Like, let him be Spider-Man, dude. That annoyed me a lot. But by the end of this movie, I'm like, oh my God. Like, chills, dude. Sheer chills. Anyway, my number 2, Into the Spider-Verse. Now I'm going to go in this really quick. I love Into the Spider-Verse. Going into it, I was not excited at all. I thought the animation looked a little kind of not for me. It was interesting. I did say that. It looked interesting, but going in, I'm like, dude, and I've told you this, I'm not a Miles Morales fan. I'm not. I tried reading the Miles Morales run. Brian Michael Bendis' run, and it just didn't work for me. I don't like derivative characters. I've went on record saying that. And, you know, there are some exceptions, but this specific character, I was not excited going in. I was like, I'm just not for me, right? The trailers didn't work. Dude, very
all know why.
rarely.
That's fine.
What?
We all know why. That's why.
Oh my God. Very rarely do I walk out of a film and want to go right back in. This movie, I had such a fun time. It not only brings
Right?
the drama, it not only with his uncle and his dad and trying to deal with all that while trying to be that universe's Spider-Man. John
Oh yeah.
Mulaney's pig, spider pork or spider ham, whatever. Do you float in the air when you smell a delicious pie or whatever? Dude, I love that movie so much. Nick Cage, he had that Rubik's Cube, and he's just he's just still messing with it. I love this movie so it was
I
so
love that
good.
movie, bro.
But anyway, that's my number 2 slot. All right, what is your number 1? I got a little confused there. My bad. What is your number 1?
So my number 1 is No Way Home.
No Way Home. Okay. I missed where you said
So
Spider-Man 2. I must have got some words
yeah, that was
mixed
that
up.
number 4.
Gotcha.
So the reason it's my number 1.
Oh, because that's when I mentioned my Spider. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue. Yeah.
So No Way Home is my number 1 pick, and the reason for this is because I had the best time like going to go see a movie that I've ever had ever, and it was amazing because when I went with my wife to go see it for the first time, but my wife isn't on, like, she's really not into like reading, any kind of news or anything like that, like about stuff or any kind of rumors. She didn't
So she
know
had
none
no
of it.
idea. I remember you telling me about this. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man. The
Yeah.
look on her face, like whenever I'm telling you, like she's sitting here and just grabbing my arm the whole time.
Oh my
like,
God. Oh my God.
oh my God. Like, because, like this was, she was like, that's Doc Ock. And I was like, yeah.
Oh,
like
dude.
I looked at her and I said,
Yeah.
you didn't know? And she goes, no. And I said, this is going to be amazing. Like, so I sat there.
Can't wait.
It's the best time I've ever had in a
Oh
movie,
my
just
God.
watching her whenever
It's so
one
good.
after the other, they're just coming out and telling the story. And then, like, for me, I'm over here, like, just watching the whole time, just like, this is awesome. This is so great. And then I'm watching her and she's just like tapping me,
Yeah.
and like it
I
was
do that
just,
with
it
my
was
wife. I'm like,
such,
oh my God.
it was such a great experience that I enjoyed the movie that much more. Do you know what I mean?
Right. You had
And
that emotional
right, and
experience with
for
it. Yeah.
Andrew Garfield to get his redemption from the whole Gwen Stacy thing,
Oh,
man, that made me
oh,
tear up, dude.
that
Like,
was so
I was just
good.
like, this
Yeah.
is amazing,
You
bro.
had to have that in
And
there. Yeah.
huh?
You had to have that
Do
in
what?
there.
I
When
had to, man.
Andrew
And
Garfield catches Gwen, you had to have that moment because,
yeah. Now there
who
are
else would have been?
a little bit of nitpicks that I have, like, the lizard and Sandman and what's the other one? Anyway, both
Yeah,
of those
I
were
could agree with
both
that.
taken from like old films, you know what I mean? Like older films, because they didn't have time to get them there, I guess. But that was my only really nitpick. I really enjoyed that entire movie.
You mean the recycled footage? Yeah, because
yeah,
they
the
did.
recycled
Yeah, they
footage
did.
of them.
Yeah, they
I was
couldn't
just,
get Thomas Hayden Church in, I think, with scheduling conflicts or something like that. And yeah, it was cool having his voice and all that kind of stuff. But yeah,
you know what I mean?
Lizard,
Like, it's just like, I
yeah,
was just like, I was like, that's the
yeah.
same scene that was,
In
but
Spider-Man 3, yeah.
yeah. So, but
What did he
it
mean
was
to
the
you
best.
anyway? Everything. Yeah.
But it was the best experience I've had at the movies so far. Like, I mean, besides Multiverse of Madness, because she didn't know nothing about that one either. But it was just, it's great. So,
Yeah,
being
it is what
able,
it is.
and it's kind of hard because with us doing this, she just like, don't say a word, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like, let's
All
just
right.
go in and have a good time. But like that first time seeing it with her, who had not read any kind of rumors or not had any speculations, and I didn't talk to her about it because
Right.
it's not something we do, bro. I love that movie. And I
It's
think
very
that,
good.
like
It's
you
my number
said,
3 spot.
at the very end, whenever he becomes
Dude.
Spider-Man and not Spider-Boy,
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
It's him saying, it's
When he made his own suit,
whenever
the
nobody
music.
knows who he
Oh,
is, nobody, and it's just
He's in
like
the
he's on his
apartment.
own
Yeah.
in the apartment. He's on his
On his own.
own, and
May's
he's just
dead.
like,
His best friends
you
forgot who
know,
he is. He
oh, and who
is
can
totally by
forget, like,
himself.
whenever he's about to kill, Willem Dafoe's
Yeah.
character, the Green Goblin, and then Toby stands in
Had
front of him,
had to
and
be
it's
Toby.
oh, bro, like, I was just like, I'm
Yeah.
goosebumps, man. I've got goosebumps right now just thinking about it.
Because
It's like
it reminds you of Spider-Man 3, where he went after Flint, and then for no reason, well, I mean, it was for a reason, but he went after him out of
right,
rage and anguish. And that scene, as
right,
much as Spider-Man 3 gets a lot of hate, in Spider-Man 2, which we'll talk about here in a second, Spider-Man 2, the scene where he can basically confesses to Aunt May, hey, I'm responsible for Uncle Ben's death. Well, in Spider-Man 3, when he does that, and by the end of the film, he's like, this wasn't right for me to do. And for him to save Goblin from Holland's Peter from the glider, it had to be him. It had to
right,
be him
right.
because he knew off firsthand what it means to go off of rage and that kind of stuff. So I agree to that. I mean, Noah Helm's my number 3. That's your number 1. Hey, it's a lot of people's favorite, and I
Yeah.
really, really, really love this movie. I do. I have a couple, like I said, minor nitpicks, couple character plots and developments. Certainly not as much, as much as I love Matt Murdock in the MC, or well, the Disney Plus, Charlie Cox, and can't wait to see what they're going to do with that moving forward. But that scene was pointless. I think you can agree with me on that one. That scene was pointless. You take that scene out of the movie, that does not change the film at all.
Anyway, what's your number 1?
So my number 1 is, look, my Spider-Man's my favorite character of all time. Ask me tomorrow, answer might be Batman, but it's always Spider-Man or Batman. Love Spider-Man. Spider-Man 1, won't go into it again, but I've already said that movie changed my perspective on a lot of things. 2 years later, going into Spider-Man 2, the hype was for real. Go in Spider-Man 2, and oh my God, this movie is borderline perfection. Like, Spider-Man 2 is that good. It's, to me, one of the best films ever made. I know that says a lot. I know I'm not saying it's better than Lord of the Rings. I'm not saying it's better than the Star Wars trilogy. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that what this movie was able to do to tell the story that it told, I'm like, this is Shakespeare level storytelling. And the sequence where he starts losing his powers and realizes, it's all in my head. I'm stressing out over nothing. He's trying to balance having a girlfriend, and he didn't move on it and act on those feelings. Well, that led her to date JJ Jameson's son, who JK Simmons is, I think we can all agree, is awesome in anything. But
Yes.
he kind of
Even
missed
his
out on
State
that.
Farm
And
commercials.
hey, Simmons got to eat, buddy. Simmons got to eat. Um, but he missed out on doing that with MJ because he didn't act on those feelings. And then he's trying to balance losing his best friend. He just was semi responsible for his best friend's dad's death and Harry Osborn. He lost Mary Jane. He's lost Uncle Ben, at least in the first film. Aunt May's pissed at him, at least for a moment. And that scene, I think it's my favorite scene in the whole movie, is when right before he gets his powers back, but he goes and talks to Aunt May, and she's kind of moving her stuff out of that house. And that boy's like, hey, Peter, where's Spider-Man? We know you take pictures of him. And he's like, he's not doing that anymore. And he's like, oh, it's too bad. That scene, dude, I'm getting chills thinking about it right now, where Aunt May is telling him there's a hero in all of us. That kid that's sitting right here, he needs Spider-Man. And in that moment, they didn't say, and I might be proven wrong someday. I don't know. Maybe given the chance, I'll ask Sam Raimi this if I'm ever lucky enough to talk to him. But I believe Aunt May knew Peter was Spider-Man. I think she's not stupid. I think I think it took her a while, but I think she figured it out. The way, I think her name's something Harris. I love her as Aunt May, but the way she's looking at him and almost breaks her
Mhm.
character talking to him in kind of agony and trying to plead with Peter knowing that Spider-Man, again, I could be proven wrong and that's fine, but that scene alone just gives me chills. And that whole movie is great. You know, he had Alfred Molina as Doc Ock, which is one of the best villains in cinematic history. Certainly, one of the best film or villains in comic book movies. But he's one of the best. Like I said, it's all Shakespeare. This movie, from start to finish, is Shakespeare. And Peter's losing everything. And by the end of the movie, he doesn't get a lot of things. He's got Mary Jane. He's got the girl. Doc Ock's defeated. You know, the city's safe, but he's still got to be Spider-Man, you know, and I just, anyway, I just love Spider-Man 2. So, all right, Wes, with a quick breakdown from 9 to 1, just in order there from least to favorite, run down that for our viewers here, my friend.
Okay, so number 9 was Spider-Man 3, then Spider-Man Far From Home, Amazing Spider-Man 2, the Amazing Spider-Man, um, Spider-Man 2, and then Into the Spider-Verse, Homecoming, and then No Way Home.
That's a good pick, my friend. That's a pretty interesting list, and again, we didn't talk about this going into this, so this was insightful, I think, for both of us. Going to run down mine right quick. So my number 9 was Spider-Man 3, number 8, Amazing Spider-Man 2, number 7, Amazing Spider-Man, number 6, Spider-Man Homecoming, number 5, Spider-Man Far From Home, number 4, Spider-Man 2002. Number 3, Spider-Man No Way Home. Number 2, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And number 1, Spider-Man 2. Again, great list from you, my friend. It's been awesome. Before we sign off here, just want to thank all of you that have there. We've had some subscribers over the past week or so. Want to thank you for that. Thankful for the views y'all have given us. It's a very small number, but we're really enjoying what we're doing, and we hope we can bring something to the table. I think Wes can agree with me on that. That we hope we can both
Oh
bring
yeah,
something to the
man.
table that we can both kind of share with you guys. All we have is our honest opinion. You know, we don't have nothing special. I mean, I have a little bit of a film background, you know, with school and all that kind of stuff. And Wes, he's a casual fan, but he's very passionate about movies. And I hope we can just bring something to the table that you guys can take. And not that we can sway any of your own opinions, but maybe we can give insight on things that, you know, not just so you agree with us, but we can have that conversation and community. And that's what's important, at least to us.
And that's all we're trying to do here, man, is
Yeah,
just make some content that
it's
that
been
everybody
fun.
enjoys and everybody likes. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that being said, let us know what your picks are for these. We'd love to know where you're at, like what your list is, what you didn't like about ours, what you liked about ours, anything like that. But thank you to the new subscribers. Anybody new that's coming on, please subscribe, comment. You can find me at West Rathbone 86 on Twitter. And Gabe, where can they find you at?
All right, y'all can find me simply at TikTok and Twitter at Voice of Film, just right here. On TikTok, I post daily videos, just my quick opinions on entertainment news, very similar to what we do here, fandom related content, movies, streaming reviews, all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, come find us there. Drop your ranking down below in the comments. Like you said, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. And happy birthday to Spider-Man. It's his 60th
That's right,
anniversary
man.
since hitting the stands June 5th, 1962. It's been a long time, 60 years. I'm almost halfway there. It's been fun, man. I enjoyed doing this video, doing these with you as always. Want to
Oh
say
yeah, my
thankful
friend.
for Spidey for joining us today. I'm going to go on a white here to check that out. Want to thank Spider-Man for joining us here. But anyway, it's been fun. Thank you, Wes, and it was a great conversation, and I can't wait to post more rankings and stuff like that. So just want to say happy birthday to Spider-Man, and thankful for Stan Lee for creating this character for all of us. And we greatly appreciate you guys, and we'll see y'all in the next video.
Peace.